Well, if you want to lower your daughter's risk of breast cancer later, there is something you need to make her eat now.
Yeah, and this is such an interesting study. Author Christine Handy has survived breast cancer. She's written about it. She's with us on the Kogo News Live line. And Christine, this was a Harvard study. And what did the researchers find specifically?
Hi, good morning. Specifically, this study started in 1991, so it's been going on for 25 years. So it's really a critical study. It's found that young adolescent diet is very important in determining whether adults will get breast cancer, especially premenopausal. 12 to 19% additional fiber as a teenager can reduce your risk considerably. And basically what that means is as a teenager, you're supposed to get about 36 grams of fiber a day. Typically, the teenager is getting 15. And they're finding that the women that, from the study in 1991, the young adults and the women that did have an increased amount of fiber, in fact, had 13 to 19% lower risk of breast cancer.
That's pretty significant. That's a big drop.
And not only that, but every 10 grams of fiber in addition to that reduce their risk by another 16%. That's a huge number.
Yeah.
Those are big numbers. So what do parents need to do when it comes to insisting about that diet?
Because, man, getting them to eat is tough.
That is so true. And that's a good question. Well, unfortunately, for this day and age, a lot of teens have been affected by breast cancer in some regard, aunt, mother, grandmother, whoever. And so if you discuss it in that regard, then it's possible that they'll take it more seriously. But you're right, teenagers are pretty much instant gratification these days. But there's a lot of ways to get the fiber, whole grains. 1 apple and 2 pieces of whole wheat bread is 10 grams of fiber. That's pretty easy to get into somebody's diet.
Well, yeah, and it seems, because normally when you think about healthy eating, you think about like the word broccoli, which still I have to force myself to eat, and some people still do. So I'm not alone on this, right?
Sure. No. But there's a lot of other things other than broccoli. I mean, the best way to get fiber is from fruits and vegetables by far. But there's also other ways. There's nuts, seeds, beans, and fortified whole wheat cereals. There's other ways that you can get it.
Now, were there any other factors like maybe playing sports, some type of exercise?
Well, that's a good question, and that played into it. So they did look at race, family history of breast cancer, body mass index, weight change over time, and other issues that could contribute to it. But overall, no, it's pretty conclusive that the higher the fiber, the lower the risk of breast cancer.
The other thing that I was curious about, since this was such a long-term study and they were looking at nutritional issues, what about sugar intake? Because we're finding more and more often that those with higher sugar intake have higher inflammatory issues at play. And, does that also, it seems like there's a much bigger picture here.
Well, that's a great question. And really the answer is, again, it can go back to fiber. High fiber diet reduce the risk of breast cancer by improving insulin sensitivity. So since fiber can slow down the absorption of sugars and help keep blood sugar levels more stable, it also goes back to the fiber. So yes, it's important to talk about the sugar, but the fiber can also cut down on the sugar inside your body.
Wow, this is really interesting information.
I know, and it's so simple.
Yeah.
And yet
it's so simple. And the other thing about fiber is that if you have excess estrogen, which I believe is also caused by the hormones in the foods that we eat, if you have excess estrogen, which is secreted through your liver and then put in the digestive tract, the fiber, it excretes right through the digestive tract so quickly that excess estrogen is not absorbed in your body. And so it comes into play in so many different regards, and it's such an easy way for us to reduce the risk of breast cancer in early teens.
Great information, Christine. Thank you so much. That is a breast cancer survivor and author Christine Handy joining us on the Kogo News Live line this morning.